let's just try right now to just stretch also. Just get our body ready to do the breath work. Lift your arms all the way up in the air. Anything that feels good. Deep breaths in through the nose. Exhaling, letting it all go. I love just hanging. And just feeling yourself totally present right now in this moment, in the center of your being. Make sure you blow your nose, your nostrils are clear. One thing I've been practicing is putting my tongue a little farther back. You know how we teach the secret switch in the front, behind the two front teeth? Put the tongue on the roof of the mouth, the maxilla bone. And if you just, when you're resting and breathing in and meditating and you just rest your tongue there, because that maxilla bone breathes, it sends a signal to like your nervous system to just relax, your whole, all your organs, your digestive system to just totally relax.
Can we do the one where you go, I am peaceful, I am blissful, I am...
Yeah.
Do that one?
Yep. Yep. I just need a couple minutes to just get really still.
Okay.
Dear God, we give thanks, so much thanks for being able to be here together today, practicing the breath work, growing in our spirituality, growing in our truth and our authenticity, and giving love to ourselves in this way. We give thanks for all that ever was. We give thanks for all that is. And we give thanks for all that ever will be. And now we imagine a great wall of golden light about us. Nothing can penetrate or pierce this light as it holds us protectingly in its own essence. Above us are the higher ones in the great hierarchy of universal wisdom, holding over us that gossamer substance, which forms a panoply under which we rest together in this great peace. Within the circle, there is love. God is love. Big deep breath in. Exhale with a sigh. And now knowing that we build into our consciousness the words, the things we declare. Repeat after me in firm, positive tones. I am eternal life. I am eternal love. I am peace, and peace dwells in me. I am truth. I am power. I am wisdom. I am justice. I am that I am. I give thanks for all that ever was. I give thanks for all that is. And I give thanks for all that ever will be. I question not the divine love, wisdom, and justice. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be blissful. May all beings be happy. Let's do 3 ohms. On this last Om, imagining it reverberating around your entire being, cleansing your energy body, totally cleansing. Okay, and now we'll get ready for the harmonic breath, the balancing breath. Plug in the right nostril. Inhaling for the count of 4. Holding for 16. Exhaling for 8. Inhaling same nostril for 4. Exhaling for 8. Inhaling through the left for 4. Hold 16. Unplug, exhale 8. One more time, inhale for 4. Unplug and exhale for 8. All right, ready to get going with Ding Lamay? Here we go.
Now, my beloved, we shall take ourselves, I trust, to very high levels of our own spirit. This is the only opportunity that we have of completing, so to say, what we have all learned together during the previous days. This will be, I hope, a recording that you yourselves will hear many times again. And what we are doing together today, we pray, may affect the lives of a very great number of people as time marches on. So now we're erect, the palms of the hands downward, as we enter into our memory developing breath. First, the thought. I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. Now, all together, up, 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 up. watching within your own body, following any little phenomenon that strikes your attention. Now in the spirit, 2 more 7s all together, up. Stop. Watch. Perhaps those dancing beads of light in front of the forehead. Perhaps that sensation at the tips of the fingers or the tips of the toes or soles of the feet. Perhaps in the throat. Imagining that beautiful face, completely unlined and happy. Now, 2 more 7s all together, up. Stop. And now, 1 triumphant 7, all together, up. Stop. And now the backs of the hands on the knees, the eyes closed. And now I imagine that great light at the top of my head. The top of my head is heavy and relaxed. The forehead is heavy. The eyes are relaxed. The muscles of the face are withdrawn. The jaw gently drops. No pressure on the teeth. The arms and the hands are very heavy. But oh, how happy I feel. I feel happy all over, particularly in my beautiful face. My face is bathed in smiles. My whole body is bathed in the blushes of my smiles. I feel a gentle pressure from within, outward. And that gentle pressure is taking away all little lines of fear, care, inward disappointment, anything negative. I feel happy all over. Now I bring the light down. The chest is relaxed. The abdomen falls down. And the light comes down, down, down to the tips of my toes. And now I imagine that great light at the back of my neck. I'm looking down over my beautiful spine. It seems that I'm looking at a wonderful waterfall with the sunshine playing on it, so that I see a countless number of tiny specks of iridescent light. Light! Light! And I know my whole body to be full of light. If thine eye be single, the single eye, the third eye, the inner eye, the spiritual eye, the creative eye, the eternal eye, if thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. And I know that every cell in that countless number of cells in my body is a lamp, a light, a torch, bringing to me the light of the divine wisdom within me. The light being in perfect correspondence with the flame, as the flame is in perfect correspondence with the fire, the fire, the fire that is in the center of centers of centers of centers of my innermost being, the fire of divine love within me, within me. And so, feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly I take a little breath and a long, deep, sweeping, sweeping sigh. Now, I lock it up. I make it my own. As I take another little breath and a quick sigh, I wake up quietly.
I just wanted to remind you, something was telling me to remind you on that breath, what you're wanting to work toward is when you're inhaling, your stomach comes way out because you're forcing the breath all the way down into the belly. So your stomach is pushing out, and then when you're exhaling, squeezing it out. So just to try to focus on that when you're doing it, you know? You ready? Okay.
My beloved, that seemed to be good. Now we will pass on without any unnecessary comment. We will pass into the revitalizing breath, followed by the inspirational breath at one standing. Now we stand, we turn to the left. Instantaneously, feet, ankles, shins, calves, knees snapped back, the buttocks, the body pulled up to its full stature, the shoulders dropped, freedom in the neck, the arms and the hands tensed to the same degree as are the legs and the feet. First, remember, pull that secret switch. I am filled with light. First, then the thought. I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. Now all together we exhale. Now I'm taking in life. 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 Now a big sniff inward. Hold it. Pull on the fingertips. Pull on the feet. Pull on the buttocks. I am the master of my body. Hold it. Now no dropping of the head, no dropping of the chest. I am the master of my body. Now all together we exhale. Now we relax entirely, coming right down. As I think of, as I feel for the inner meaning, the hidden meaning of these sublimely simple words. I am whole, whole. Nothing is lacking. Nothing can be added. I am whole. I am perfect. I am strong. I am powerful, full of power. Every cell in my body is a complete power plant working for me. I am loving. I am that of which the universe is made, moving. I am loving. I am harmonious, in harmony, balance, poise, equilibrium. I am in harmony with the laws of this universe. I am rich. I am young. And now, as if innumerable streams of living light are coursing downward in the body, I am happy. I look happy. I feel happy. I am happy. And so, feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, imagining that great golden, golden shower of light going out in all directions, the secret of the golden flower. Slowly, I take a little breath and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. I lock it up as I take another little breath and a quick sigh, as I prepare myself for the inspirational breath. Again, instantaneously, feet, ankles, shins, calves, knees snapped back, the buttocks, the body pulled up to its full stature, the shoulders dropped, the arms and the hands. Now, the inspirational breath. First, the thought. Now all together we exhale. Now I'm taking in life. Those beautiful arms, not too fast. Taking in life. Life. Now the right thumb under the left thumb, the two forefingers touching, the backs of the hands together. Hold it. Now we come down 45 degrees. Down, down, down. And now we relax entirely. Coming right down. Relaxing the whole body. I thank thee, Lord, for my body. My body, the transcendently beautiful, the infinitely intricate, but the most gloriously accurate instrument in this universe. My body, the temple of the living God, the temple of the God that lives within me, that is alive within me. I stand in reverence. I stand in adoration. I stand in veneration before the wisdom pent up in the very substance of my body. And I pledge myself, I vow, that from this moment henceforward, nothing that I shall eat or drink, nothing that I shall do or say or think shall injure or abuse this temple of the living God, my body. And so, feeling happy upward, not thinking that I am happy only, feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly, and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. I lock it up. It is my own. As I take another little breath and a quick sigh, and I sit down quietly. My beloved, it seems to me to be very good. Now, we will pass into the perfection breath. I know that you're each asking the very highest and the best that you have. We now stand, we turn to the left. Now instantaneously. Now position. Splendid. Be sure. First, the thought. Now all together we exhale. Now I'm taking in life. 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 Now a big sniff inward. Hold it. We get ready. Swing number one. Swing number two. Swing number three. Arms at the sides. We exhale. Now we relax entirely. Coming right down. as I prepare myself to think the greatest thought I ever shall be able to think. Whatever the Creator is, I am. Differentiated from all other life forms in this universe, I am the Creator in human form. The Creator is right here, right in the heart of me, right in the mind of me, right in the substance of me, right in the being of me. Reveal thyself, O Lord of my life, O Lord of the eternal, thou that art the same yesterday, today, tomorrow, forever. Come, I wait, I listen, I am still, I watch within me. And now I will to see the Creator at work within the temple, as feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. Now I lock it up. As I take another little breath and a quick sigh, it is my own, and I sit down quietly. My beloved, we've made great progress. Now we will pass into the vibromagnetic breath. Now you remember even the physical importance of this great breath. I find sometimes there is a tendency that when we are beginning to get into the feeling, we, so to speak, forget the necessary action. We must never forget that we are tyros, we are apprentices. We have to become masters of what we're doing. So therefore, do not let your feelings stray, and just keep sufficient intellectual control that what you do thoroughly. Now then, we will breathe the vibromagnetic breath, at the end of which we will take our seats again as quietly as may be, so that when we sit down, the vibration is still at its very height. So for the vibromagnetic breath, we stand, we turn to the left. Very good. Now be sure. Fingers, thumbs. First, the thought. I thank thee, Lord, for the breath of my life. Now, all together we exhale. Now I'm taking in life. 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 Splendid. Keep it going. Life. Now a big sniff inward. Now we get ready. Swing number one. Swing number two. Swing number three. Arms at the sides. We exhale. And now we relax entirely. Coming right down. And now I'm thinking of the loveliest thing I have ever known. The loveliest thing I have ever known. There it comes before my mind, that beautiful picture, perhaps from the long ago, perhaps from the far away, but there it stands perfectly clearly delineated before my mind as if it happened but a moment ago. I thank thee, Lord, for my memory. I thank thee that I am able to bring back from the vault of the past any beautiful thing that is in my memory. And I pledge myself, I vow, that from this moment henceforward, nothing shall enter my memory. No idea of negation of whatsoever kind. No idea of disease, decay, senility, old age, disappointment, doubt, failure, death. Nothing shall enter my memory but that which is in unison with all good and my own very highest conception of truth. And there I see my whole conduct. There I see the whole conduct of man. And so I will that that picture shall be lost again in the absorption of my being, as feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly, and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. And now I lock it up. As I take another little breath and a quick sigh, and I sit down without coming out. Now, my beloved, the great reward, instantaneously, it seems as if my body is gone. It seems as if my body is heavy. It seems perhaps as if my body is light. I feel that I am joy sitting in the center of itself. Now I'm feeling to the right. I'm feeling out toward my right-hand neighbor. And there comes that beautiful vibration taking me away to the right, to the right, to the right. It seems as if I'm on the bosom of a great billow, going out over a far outstretching sea to the right. It seems as if I'm on a cloud, going out endlessly through space to the right. I am developing prana in the positive center of my willpower. I am developing the origin of life, the origin of life, the current of life, the life current within me in the positive center of my willpower. I am developing the current of the universe. I am developing the spirit of the current of the universe in the positive center of my willpower. To the right, to the right. All feeling, no thinking. Just let the body do what it wants to do. Let it go to sleep. You keep awake in your feeling. I am developing prana in the positive center of my willpower. Now ever so tenderly, with no inward action, only your feeling. I'm feeling to the left. And there it comes again, that beautiful vibration taking me away to the left, to the left, to the left. Now, no thinking. You're not sitting there intellectually watching something take place. You're feeling that you are it, that it is you. I'm feeling to the left. It seems as if I'm on the bosom of a great billow, going out over a far outstretching sea to the left. It seems as if I'm on a cloud, going out endlessly through space to the left. I am developing prana in the negative center of my willpower. I am developing the origin of life, the current of life, the life current within me in the negative center of my willpower. I am developing the current of the universe. I am developing the spirit of the current of the universe in the negative center of my willpower. Now watching, unafraid. Now I stop the current and I'm feeling downward. And there it comes from the top of my head, down, down, down to the tips of my toes, then up around in front like a great wheel of golden light, coming down, 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 then up around again, and I see that great light, and I bring it down, cleansing, 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 down, down, down to the soles of my feet. The Creator is within me, looking out on the universe through my eyes, listening to the sounds of the universe through my ears, thinking the thought of the universe through my mind, issuing the sounds of the universe through my throat. Purify thou my throat. The Creator is within me, doing the work of the universe through my hands. The Creator is within me, expressing through me. Whatever the Creator is, I am. I am perfect, perfect, as He, as it. That which I know, that which I feel within me is perfect. I am perfect mind in a perfect body. I am that I am, that I feel, that I am. Om Mani Padme Hum. Now, the body is in a liquid state, seemingly going in all directions, wheels within wheels. But I, seated triumphant within the citadel of my own spirit, mind crystally clear. And so I bring that light again to the top of my head, and I bring it down with a slightly pressing sensation downward, to be met by a slightly resisting sensation upward, as all together we bring it down, not missing one cell in the body, cleansing, 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 down, down, down to the soles of my feet. And I see my whole body. I feel that I see. I see that I feel my whole body. This wide universe to be full of light. Light. The light of the divine wisdom that is in every living thing. And now I will fan the living flame that brings the light, as feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, giving thanks, giving thanks. Imagining that great golden shower of light going out in all directions. Slowly, I take a little breath, and the long, deep, sweeping sigh. Now I lock it up. It is mine own forevermore. As I take another little breath and a quick sigh, and I wake up quietly. O thou that lends me life, lend me a heart replete with thankfulness. Now, my beloved, we will pass, without any further comment, on into the cleansing breath. We stand, we turn to the left.
Do you want to keep going? Let's keep going.
I do, but my phone's gonna die. Can we pause? Can I run upstairs really quick and grab my charger?
Yeah.
Pause for
Okay.
a second. Hey, I'm back. Oh my goodness, you guys. I've had the most unexplainable, phenomenal experience this time doing the 8 key breaths. I've been just working on myself and diving so deep into my spirituality and to healing at different depths that I've never, ever done before, and trying new things because I want something that I've never had before. So I have to do things that I've never done before. And I am honestly searching and trying, and I am feeling my way to God, and I am experiencing such amazingness. I don't know how to even describe to you what it is that I'm feeling, because it's so powerful. It's not intellectual, right, guys? This is like my body and my my spirit is feeling something. It's not, I've done so much healing that's been this intellect of trying to read the right articles or to do something intellectually. But right now, what I'm experiencing is like God's energy and his love and light healing my inner child and healing my body, and just this experience it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
One I wanted to say, when we did that meditation, I also had like a really powerful experience this time, but what I noticed that I was doing was I was wrestling with my intellect. I would be in my mind, you know how he says you're feeling, you're not just intellectually watching a process happen. So it's like I would be, I mean, I had like unbelievable sensations in my body today. I've had them on and off over the years at different times, depending on how in my head I am. You know, today I had a headache and I was all just in my head today. So I'm feeling a whole lot better. But I was realizing during that it is hard to let go sometimes. It is hard to get out of the head and into the body and experiencing, like what you're saying. It's like God as you, God looking out into the universe through your eyes, hearing the sounds of the universe through your ears. You know, you are God experiencing the world as Mindy. Do you know what I'm saying?
That was the part when he could see. I felt like I could have God. There was this connection of like this heavenly father viewing me, but I was him, but he was me, and this connection. It was so beautiful, Jody. Oh my goodness.
And I wanted to tell you, let me remind you of something that we talked about before. So what you're experiencing when you have those moments of feeling it, feeling God and you as one, the universal energy, source energy as you, perfect, whole, and complete. Nothing can be added, nothing can be taken away, all of that. That is what a mystical experience is. When you're having an experience that can almost bring you to tears, that you can't explain, your heart feels it, your cells are activated by it, your eyes are charged up with it. Like you can't find the words to say it because it's so powerful and it's beyond words, right? That is, people have a misunderstanding of what mysticism is. Mysticism is not like anti-Christian or some other religion or something like that. It is just that. It's an experience that's so profound that you don't have the words for it. It's a mystical experience, you know? So I am going to do like a little video talking about mysticism and what that means, because I didn't understand it either when I got into this. I had no idea really what it was, you know, and I've been such an intellectual processor. I mean, in my head, I would say an overthinker type, you know, and the breath work has really helped me so much to get out of my head and into my body where the past trauma is stored. That's when I really started to heal myself on the deepest level. And when you start to heal yourself in Vipassana meditate, those silent meditation retreats I've done, you know, what they say, they call it their sankharas, which are these deep grief, it's deep woundings, and sankharas, yeah. And in that culture, it can be from this life and also other lifetimes. That is actually stored in your energy body. When it's in your energy body, it affects your physical body, right? It's like your emotional, energetic body.
Right. Yeah. The mind, body, and spirit are all one.
And if you can heal that in the energy body, then the physical body, which is symptomatic of underlying emotional or energy disruptions, that'll just automatically heal itself. This is how I learned about my body and healed myself, is healing it in the realm of the energetic realm. And then the symptoms that the body is displaying for you to notice something's not right, clear up. You know what I mean? It's pretty interesting. And but that's the main thing about that I have discovered about mental physics, that it brings you deep into the body like nothing else can. You can go to therapy for 30 years and talk all you want about your problems, and you'll probably make progress. You know, most people get healed by that, but
not at the level that I just experienced.
not at the deepest level that you can, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing about the sankharas I wanted to tell you. So because as human beings, we already have these deep griefs, right? And as the creator in human form, whatever we're thinking, we're creating over and over again. So if we have hurts and wounds and traumas, and we continue to perpetuate those, not only that, but we add more griefs on top of it because we're a wounded person that's not healed, so our perception is not clear. Right?
We confirm our untruths. They're untruths.
Exactly.
And we keep confirming that they're real, and they're not. They're getting deeper and deeper.
The real truth is, we are whole, perfect, strong, powerful, harmonious, loving, rich, young, happy. That we are the creator in human form. We are God at our deepest essence. It's not, I'm not saying that from a blasphemous point of view, like an egotistical, oh, I am God. No, it's just the truth of reality. Everything that exists, it is source energy, is a creation of the source that gives us life, whatever you call it, you know? People call it all different kinds of things. It doesn't change the essence or the truth or the nature of what it is. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's always constant. It's omnipresent. What?
The source energy. I like that.
Yeah, I like to call it great creator. That's what in the Native American culture, great creator, creative spirit. You know, creative spirit is that, like that Holy Spirit that runs through us, God, the creator that created us to create in the world. And so, like, it's funny to me, sometimes people will say, when I talk about using the creative word wisely, because what we're thinking and speaking is barreling out into the universe is our future coming toward us, right? We literally, and people will say, well, I don't really believe in that. Well, you don't have to for it to exist.
Right.
You cannot believe in gravity, but if you jump off a cliff, you're going down.
Right. Truth is truth. Whether you believe in it or not, it doesn't matter. It's still true.
And
absolute truth.
Totally. And the beauty of going in the body with the breath work is you will discover, everyone who does the work will discover the truth for themselves. It will arise within you. You know what I'm saying?
It's coming out so strong today. I'm floored. We aren't even through, right? What breath are we on?
Oh, we have 6, 7, and 8 left to do. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. I love you.
I love you too.
Thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing up every week. This is so good for us. This has changed my whole day. I was miserable this morning. I went to the dentist yesterday, had work done. I woke up just dehydrated and headachy, and I was like, oh, I don't want to, I felt like I don't want to do it. And I am so happy now that I've done this, and I get to see your beautiful face.
I love you, Jode.
I love you too. All right, here we go, sis.
Instantaneously. Splendid. Freedom in the neck. Watch the head.
This is the one where your hands start
Now
behind you.
position. First, the thought. Now all together we exhale. Now I'm taking in life. life, life. Keep it going. Life. Now a big sniff inward. Hold it. Now we get ready. We unlock. Swing number one. Swing number two. Swing number three. Arms at the sides. We exhale. And now, I imagine a great heat at the base of my spine. I can feel it coming up. It's coming up. And now I imagine a great light that comes from the flame, that comes from the fire, that gives the heat. It's coming up and out, up and out. I imagine a peacock feather of gold in my spine. It's coming up and out, up and out. It seems to strike upon the surface of my body. It seems to go beyond my body, up and out. Now I'm thinking of the top of my head, and I see my whole body to be full of light. The light of the divine wisdom that is in every living thing. And now I will fan the living flame that brings the light, as feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. I lock it up. So I take another little breath and a quick sigh, and I sit down quietly. Now, we will pass into the great anticlimax, the grand rejuvenation breath. How great, my beloved, is God. Be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven within you is perfect. Now the grand rejuvenation breath. We stand, we face the center, making 2 circles and coming out well. Splendid. Now, as well as we can do it, giving everything that we have. The heels touching. Now position. Now all together we exhale. Now I'm taking in life. 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 Now a big sniff inward. Hold it. We drop the head and down, back. Down, back. Down, back. We stand erect. We exhale. Now down, splendid. Back. Down, back. Down, pulling on the head. We stand erect. We inhale. And now we slowly drop the hands. Now the success of this breath, my beloved, depends entirely upon your ability to relax. I am youth. I am youth. I am youth. Now I remember my second lesson. I see before me that picture of my idealized self. I see that luxuriant hair, those sparkling eyes, that beautiful, beautiful face, unlined and happy, rounded neck, strong arms and hands. And now I come down over that beautiful being. I thank thee, Lord, for the truth of my being. I am youth, wondrous, glorious, vibrant, vivacious youth, achieving youth, fearless youth, full of courage, strength, power. I thought my body wore out and grew old, like an old pair of shoes. But now I know, as I stand in the presence, new cells are being made for me. I am being renewed. I sing, I shout, I rejoice. I sing the song of conquest. There is no age for me, no decay, no senility, no death. I am free, free, free from the ravages of time, free from all negation of my own mind. And so, feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly, and a long, deep, sweeping, sweeping sigh. Now, my beloved, I take a little breath, and I sit down younger. My beloved, I trust that we shall not soon forget this morning. If I were you, I would, right now, feel that I am allowing everything that has transpired this morning to enter deep into my subconsciousness. I am now absorbing it as a sponge absorbs clean water. I am creating my new world. I am creating my new body in my new world. Whatever it is, I am. Now we will pass into the great and holy climax of all, your own spiritual breath. Remember, as you rise, never forget, this is the only breath with the feet apart. We stand, we turn to the left. Now, first, the thought. Now all together, position. Elbows forward. Now, my beloved, together, we pull that switch. We feel ourselves together, flooded in, absorbed in light. Now, all together we exhale. Now I'm taking in life. 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 Splendid, keep it going. Life. Now a big sniff inward. Be sure, follow the voice. To the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. We stand erect, we exhale. Now we slowly drop the hands. And now I'm thinking upward to the top of my head. I'm thinking joy, 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 joy. And now simultaneously we send it out. I embrace this class. I embrace all in mental physics wherever they may be. I embrace the city. I embrace the state. And now I watch as I see those great waves of light rolling out, growing of their own nature. I embrace the country. I embrace the whole world. I embrace the whole human race. And now, with the light of the divine wisdom within me, with my love, with my joy, with my life, I embrace every living thing. And now I stand fast, lest the light be too great for me, as it returns to me by that mystic fourfold law, not from the one point from which I sent it, but from all the points. It's coming back, back, nearer, nearer, nearer. And now it embraces me. It embosoms me. It overwhelms me. That light of the divine wisdom, that love, that joy, that life that comes to me from every living thing, so that I know my whole body, this wide universe, to be full of light, light, light. And now I will charge every cell of my physical body with that light of the divine wisdom, that love, that joy, that life that comes to me from every living thing, as feeling happy upward, giving thanks outward, slowly, and a long, deep, sweeping sigh. Now I lock it up. It is my own. As I take another little breath and a quick sigh, and I sit down quietly.
Don't you feel great? Oh, you're on mute.
Yes.
For some reason, another thing was coming up for me to tell you. When you're meditating, you want, I don't know how to say it, I'll just say it. You want your butt to take up as much space as possible on the floor. So how I do it is I just sit in like, let me see if I can show you. Yeah. So I'll just show you on a chair. So when I'm sitting in lotus position, getting ready to meditate, I lean and I pull my butt cheek out and lean and pull it out so that it takes up as much space as you can. Ding May talks about that in the lessons. It's like your electrical connection to the earth.
Like how you're supported, right? It's how you're supported,
and grounded. Yeah.
Physical.
Yeah, I actually would love to learn a little bit more about why that is. It just came up. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I'll just get like some sort of thought to tell the class or something, and that kept coming up. So
the one that I need you to explain to me again,
yeah,
is because I can't do belly breathing. Okay, I don't understand how. Okay, so like when you breathe out, when you breathe in, your stomach's supposed to go out, and when you breathe in, your stomach's supposed to go in. I don't know which.
Okay, put your left hand on your stomach, and your right hand on your chest, up here. Okay, so when you breathe in, when you're in the side and you breathe in, you should look like you're pregnant. you should push your whole belly out.
When you breathe in.
When you're breathing in, because you're taking the air in through your nostrils, you're not, like, people today breathe so shallow. They're like chest breathers.
That's what I do when I breathe in. My chest gets big and my stomach goes in. Like, I breathe in my stomach and my chest gets big. My lungs expand.
Yeah. Well, your lungs are going to expand. It's going to take practice, because as human beings, we forget how, like, watch Charlotte when she's sleeping, how she breathes. She'll be on her back and her whole stomach will come out and go back in. Her whole stomach will come back out and go back in. So it takes practice, but you should lie on the ground on your back so you can feel it, and then put your left hand on your bed or whatever. Put your left hand on your belly deep down, because when my dad died, the nurses said that, and this is what was so interesting to me, because remember, he donated his heart, but his heart kept going crazy, like into AFib or whatever, and they'd have to
shocked a whole bunch.
Yeah, he got shocked because the heart, this was so fascinating. I didn't know this before. So the heart goes into AFib, and they have to shock it, because the reason the heart was doing that was because his lungs were failing. And the reason the lungs failed is not because he couldn't get enough air, which is what you would think, right? If somebody's dying from COPD and they can't get enough oxygen. But in reality, what happens is the bottom of the lungs atrophies. The bottom of the lungs becomes stale, like carbon dioxide in there that the body cannot get out. So just like any other muscle, we have to exercise those lungs. You have to consciously breathe to force that air to go all the way down into the base of your lungs. So you should feel it expanding down deep. You know what I mean? And don't be frustrated if you're not there yet. It's taken me years and years and years, and I still have to really, really concentrate to push that air down. But that's why it's good to just practice with one hand on your belly, so that you can feel your belly rise out, and then you feel the air coming up and then into the upper chest. And then when we do the big sniff, we're up at the throat. And that, when you're doing the big sniff, you're topping it off, you're pushing, you're filling that last little bit of your lungs, so that your lungs are so full that the air is getting in the bottom. Now, the reason you're struggling is because you've breathed a certain way your whole life, like most people do, because we're stressed out. There's too much technology, so many things going on that we just get used to breathing shallow. But I guarantee you, when you get this down, Mindy, if you practice on a regular basis, taking like breaths like you've never taken before, it's going to change everything. I think even people that have depression and different things like that, if they would to just really focus on deep healing breaths, it just changes everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just change. It can rebalance your
it's
entire
totally
body.
Doing this with you every week. I'm so sad. Yes, last week we didn't do it. Like I could feel it in my body of like it works all week. It's working. You know what I mean? Like I can feel
Totally
it.
Works. Yeah.
It works. And since it's been 2 weeks since I've done the class, I feel like it's been too long.
Well, that you need to do it on your own. Even if you just do a couple breaths, I say ideally.
I've been doing the 4, 8, 16 counts.
So right now, the fact that you did your session with Linda and you had these breakthroughs and everything, I would practice the memory developing breath, because that breath, the first, you know which one I'm talking about, right? No, that's harmonic. Yeah, the
7, 7, 7,
Yeah.
7, 7.
Yep.
I don't know how much. 7 sevens?
7 sevens, 49.
Okay.
It ignites the 49 fires in the body.
And that one will help you push all that stuff out, you know.
And it's okay to do a lot of it, because I'm just worried about that ketosis thing that you told me.
No, it's Kundalini psychosis.
There you go. Kundalini
Yeah.
psychosis.
No, you'd have to be doing these like 100 times a day. Don't do the memory developing breath over and over and over. You probably could overdo it. Just do it once a day. Just do it in the morning. Do the harmonic breath, do the memory developing breath, and start to really focus in your body on what those breaths are doing in your body. And when you're doing this one, okay, now that you've got the mechanics down of how to do it, now when you're breathing in, now you want to start to visualize light coming in and going up and around and down the side of your spine, and same thing with the other nostril, the light coming in and going up and down. Just start to play around with it and feel. Geez, it scared me. I don't know what that was.
Is your daughter not home?
No, she's with her dad. I have an appointment at 1 o'clock though. What time is it?
Cat.
1:45.
Was it your
Yeah, my cats,
cat?
cats. They're mad because they're locked in now because of their misdeeds.
So let's go do that was 8, right? We just did 8. Let's go see if we can find a Master Cho video that's less than 15 minutes long, because we have 17 minutes.
Yeah. Can you give me 1 second to text her, and just because I told her after 1, but let me just see if there's a chance she could come just a little bit later, because I really want to do that too. Let me see what time she's coming. Hang on 1 second.
I've already today drank 2 of these giant things of water. I have to pee again, but I don't want to go upstairs because I'm going to wake up the babies, and I do not want that. That's my second one. Done.
Oh, okay.
Done.
Hang on just a second. Sorry.
Whew.
It was so weird going to the dentist yesterday. They had like temperature check stations, and I had just, it was really strange. Everything was all gated off and locked off, and all these caution signs. I had to go get my temperature taken and asked all these questions, where I had been, this, that, and the other. They had a tent, but nobody was there getting tested. They had tests available. Like, you know, there's all the news is like, oh, there's a shortage of, nobody's there. It's empty. It's really weird. But yeah, they gave me like a band to go in. And if I said, well, what is my temperature? She said 98.2. I said, well, what's the protocol? She said, well, if it's over 100, we have to send them to their car and call the health department. Isn't that crazy? So weird.
The health department, really?
It's just a really weird, I don't know. It's just really, the world is so strange right now. That's why we have to, when we do this is the thing, if I could teach anything, what I would like to impart to people is that when we do our own work, we add to the collective consciousness healing. We are healing because we are connected.
Right.
I don't care how much people are. You know what's crazy to me too is, so like in the world today, you know, people are fighting over their different thoughts. I mean, first of all, there's as many opinions as there are people on the planet. So there's always going to be people that don't see things like you, right? We're fighting over all of that. It's to me like when I had cancer and people say, oh, you're going to fight this and this, you know, like out the things that I would read about, like imagining, you know, shooting the cancer cells inside yourself. Well, for me, my inner nature said, your body's already like in conflict, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So adding a war inside there is probably not the best thing. Like
right.
what God told me is accept what is. The only resisting what is not going to work. This goes back to my sankaras. Okay, this is what I wanted to tell you. So the way to really true freedom and true happiness, instead of adding more grief on top of it, how to stop that is how to actually get all of the previous things that are stuck in your body up and out is different things like the breath work and whatnot. But really just to accept every moment of your life like you chose it. So when the doctor said to me, you have cancer, I had two choices. I could resist, I could fight, I could be totally crazy upset. I had a lot of choices. The choice I made was to choose that then. Okay, well, that's what showed up. So let's pick that. Now what? Because then you're in a position of power. If you're resisting any present moment, let's say you're out in your car driving and you're
right, like the Chinese finger trap. You know
oh
what the
my gosh, yes.
finger trap is, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
That's like a metaphor for life right there. That's exactly
yes.
what it is.
Yes.
You just choose it. In the choosing of the thing that is actually present in your now moment, whatever that is, if a baby pukes down your shirt or you get a flat tire or what. So let's just say you get a flat tire. Let's use the baby in your case since it's relatable. Let's say your baby pukes down your shirt.
The baby bites my nipple because she has 2 teeth. She's nursing and bites my nipple.
Okay, be careful because this might go on YouTube. We're still recording.
I'm a breastfeeding mom. I'm tandem nursing. I'm okay with.
I know tandem nursing breastfeeding. That's crazy. Okay. Okay. So yeah, but any type of scenario. Let's do the tire because most people can relate with that. But but let's say you get a flat tire and you could rant and rave. I can't believe this. I should have checked it. Why didn't I get a new tire when I had the chance? You could do all of that. But what does that change the fact that you have a flat tire and it needs to be dealt with in the moment? No.
Oh, well, that's the thing. That's the thing. They teach you when you're giving birth to scream is actually really bad because it wastes all your energy. That if you actually go into like a calm state and you're breathing, the hypnobirthing, right?
Yeah.
Is a slowing down your breath and internalizing and going inward and breathing through the pain is actually better than I was wasting every energy you have to push the baby out.
Makes complete sense. Yeah, the hypnobirthing worked amazing for me. Right when I got to the point of, the ring of fire that the nurse called it, I heard the hypnobirthing CD that I had been listening to for 3 months prior. All of a sudden the lady goes, I relax and I turn the birth of my baby over to my body and my baby. And in that moment, I was just like, oh yeah, I can just let it happen. It's actually what I'm learning in life right now is it's almost like being in your feminine receptive energy. It's not trying to make anything happen. It is surrendering to what is. It's surrendering, allowing, opening. It's very similar to what it takes to give birth. If you resist giving birth, you're going to cause yourself and that baby so much trouble.
Right. That's why people have to have cut C-section because your mental blocks actually help block you off from having the flow happen.
Do you know that a paralyzed person, like the body, will actually deliver the baby all by itself? Like the body will push the baby out. It knows what to do. And that goes all the way back to the same thing we're talking about, which is the trauma, the grief, the things that need to be purged in order to allow more light into our body exist in our body, in our cells. You're never going to find it up here. Trust me, I've tried for almost 49 years to try to heal the things that I know for myself needed healing intellectually. Not going to happen.
So, but it's more of the trust muscle. So, okay. So if everything is about acceptance, it's also about trust, right? It's because you have to trust. Those two go together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's the ultimate trust in the fact that whatever the creator is, you're that. Is that, and even in the case of like the tire, it's trusting that everything is unfolding in divine right timing, and you're just allowing it. Okay, if the tire is flat, it is what it is. Now what? You know, it really gives you power. And that's the other thing that's I'm having all these thoughts now about so many things I want to say.
Start happening to you. They're happening for you, right? That's the other thing too, is to be glad for closed doors, to be glad for sadness, to be glad for the negative stuff where you're like, I think this is the most horrible thing in my whole world, is to realize that, to stop putting labels of good and bad on it, because it might be the blessing that protects you and keeps you safe, and you know that.
Oh, totally. Like the flat tire that delays your going onto the highway might be an of accident avoidance. So
Right,
God
it might
says,
save your
that's
family,
what I'm saying.
you know.
Yes.
Your child might have been injected through the window, and this flat tire is actually preventing your child's life from being safe, you know, preventing him from passing on to the other side, because it's protecting him, because you're going to be on the road 20 minutes later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the case all the time. Like when I was in LA and sitting in traffic or whatever, I would see, you know, people just getting like rageful all by themselves in their car because they can't go anywhere. But all that does is add rage to the fact that you can't go anywhere. The fact is there's traffic. You have to sit.
Well, that's more acceptance. That's accepting the inevitable of like, I can accept it and be happy. Well, I mean, that's exactly what you're saying, is like, you can accept it or you cannot accept it. And it's your choice, right? These are our choices.
Our free will.
How do we want
free will to choose?
How do we want to live our life? It's our choice.
That's true, because flat tires happen. They're just going to happen. So how you know, it's kind of that saying, like how you respond to it is really where the power lies. Life is going on, and there's all kinds of hard things in life and ups and downs and everything. The only steady thing to hold on to is really that it's constantly changing, and that's okay, and that everything works together for good. That was one of my mom's sayings she loved. Everything always works together for good. You know, so like you said, if your tire's flat and you're 20 minutes late, there's a reason for that. Right. There's a reason for that. Even if the reason is just to learn in that moment to accept the unacceptable. And then once you do that, so in the Vipassana, the silent meditation retreats, I mean, it's more experiential, so I couldn't really explain it to you. But what I can tell you is once you start to accept, then you're not adding more grief on top of the traumas that are already in your body. So what happens is, now that you've stopped adding more and more junk, it's like a river. Okay, let's say a river is polluted. If you stop polluting the river, do you know all the fish and the plant life and everything will come back? Like if a river is polluted and it kills all the life in there, if you keep polluting the river, it's never going to come back, right? But the minute you stop putting the pollution in, then the rest of it can heal. This is what God taught me when I got my cancer diagnosis. I drove out to the desert in the middle of nowhere where my mom was, and I took a walk by myself along the Coachella Canal. It's just this big waterway. This was a mystical experience for me. I have to tell, it was so, it was a download from the divine. And so I was walking along, and there were like these, I don't know what they are, not catfish, but some kind of fish that lives in the canal, pretty big fish. And they were just all swimming all haphazardly all around. And I was asking God to help me understand like what my cancer was about, lymphatic cancer, how the immune system worked. I was just asking, like in my head, these questions. So I started walking along, and I look over, and the fish, there was like a couple fish that were all swimming like all around, and they lined up in a row, like 3 of them right in a row, and they started swimming along next to me while I was walking along the canal. And I thought, well, that's weird, right? It's kind of weird. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it gets even weirder because they came upon another group of fish that were all swimming all haphazard around, and those fish all got in line. Now there's a line of like 10 fish swimming along as I'm walking along the canal. And it happened and happened and happened until there was like this whole line of fish. I mean, like 100 fish, nose to tail, following along as I'm walking. Now, I still cannot find words to tell you what I experienced that day. I can only tell you factually what happened and kind of hint at what I got out of that. But it was a mystical experience, and God through that somehow explained to me a whole lot about how the system works, and also about stop polluting the river. When you stop, then it can come back to life, come back to health. But if you can, and it's the same way, like if you keep adding through your, we were talking about thinking about things wrongly, like let's say you grew up in an alcoholic home or something, and your way of relating to the world is already skewed, and you keep relating in that same way, it's just going to continue to cause hurts and things on top of it. Now, if you start accepting your now
Generation curses is what they're.
yeah. But if you just start accepting everything as it arises, like it's like your feelings,
But you can break the cycle.
yeah, you can totally break the cycle. But true happiness comes from accepting and choosing what is, what shows up in your life. Now, the free will also is us as the creator being able to have the free will to create those things, our future that we're stepping into. You see what I'm saying? It's like a 3-part process. So we have the ability to use our words and our thoughts, which lead to our actions, to create a future that's more like the one we would like to have, right?
Right.
Making sense?
I'm trying to 3 things are.
Huh?
A 3-pronged.
Well, I'm saying there's 3 things, as in there's accepting what is, no matter what shows up. But then as you're doing that, as you're practicing being present in your now moment and choosing your now moment as it shows up, whether it's a beautiful date with your husband or a flat tire, you just accept it for what it is, then you're not adding more and more grief on top of the things that are already trapped in your body, right? So then those things have a chance to surface. They have a chance to come up so you can feel it to heal it. Then what happens is your ability as a creator gets greater because you have more light, more space, more knowledge, more understanding, more wisdom about how it works. And you can create, so your chances of flat tires actually become less. Now if it happens,
you get more front row parking spots at the grocery.
Exactly. It's so funny. I taught Kira that when she was about 3 years old. And sometimes she'll say stuff like, I can't find the whatever, I can't find my cat stuffy. And I'll say, use your magic. And she'll say, I know where it is. I know exactly where it is. And then I do this how I find stuff. And then it pops into my mind where it is, whatever it is. And there it is. Or like that, I taught her to get parking spaces for me. We'd be downtown Palm Springs, totally packed. And I'd say, use your magic and get us rock star parking. And say, okay, I got this. Close her eyes for like 2 minutes. And then lo and behold, here we come. Somebody pulling right out, right in front of where we're going. We pull right in, easy and effortless. But it's interesting to teach a kid the things that it took me 49 years to learn. So I see, and I almost wish I wouldn't have sometimes, because she uses it to
against you.
Yeah, she did a vision board with dogs on it. I said, there's no way you're going to have, that's going to be your grown-up vision board, because I'm not getting a dog. And then we got a dog. I'm going to have to go take all these babies off there that she put.
It's your quad. It's your quad.
Stop it. Oh my goodness. No. Gosh,
They're
I'm
coming.
tired just thinking about that. No way. We're
It's a
much
good
more set up and equipped for quads.
it's a good thing that the universe does has a cancellation button, that we don't just automatically get
I
what we
know.
call, because we would have like 8 sets of quads each. By
How many grandkids we'd get out of that?
we would have a really big family.
That's so funny. It's really fascinating though. And you know what's interesting too is if you start writing, I don't know if you write or not, but I've written over the years, sometimes a lot and sometimes not. But lately I've been doing, I got a calendar. This is Brad's idea and it's so great. Just a regular calendar, Kieran, I got with a little pack of the foil stars, the colored stars. And so each star means something different. So blue is exercise, red is self-care, silver's meditation, gold is creative projects, you know, green is money making work. And so since I've done that, it sounds so goofy because it's like a little kid thing, but it has totally motivated me. So this is like, you know, this could go under exercise or self-care or whatever category you want to put it in. But as I've been writing in my journal and looking back and everything, you know, that really gives you kind of a guidepost as to how you grow in your creative abilities. I mean, from when I first was a teenager and heard the concept, I read this book called Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain, which was basically The Secret that I got my hands on at 13. Changed my whole life, that book. That is what really set me on my path to understanding, wow, we really, and then Louise Hay came along and she, you know who she is? Louise
Mhm.
Hay, she did,
Yeah,
yeah.
I follow her on Facebook. Well, I used to. I mean,
Yeah.
she's
I
passed.
love her. I'm going to be like her I'll be like a 90-year-old woman learning to, you know, ballroom dance or something. I love how she lived her life and took on new things as, you know, as an older lady. I mean, she started an organic garden at like age 90, learned how to organic garden and, you know, just was always creating because there's no, did you read that quote that I put on Facebook recently about it's never too late to do your dream because the time passes
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
I hear people, like I feel
Right.
people, I shouldn't say I hear them, but I feel them, their resignation and I'm too old to do that. I used to want to do this thing or, you know, I dreamed of this or that or the other, but I'm too old. Well, what else you got to do for the rest of your life? If not your dreams, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The rest of your life. When would now be a good time to get going on that?
Yeah, I'm reading a book, the I Declare by Joel Osteen, and I am on yesterday I read day 16 of a 31-day meditation. So I'm on day 16 and already it's just profound of like breaking these generational curses, you know? I mean, that's the thing that's like on my mind right now is I am healing myself in a way that my children will never have to experience the pain that my trauma did because of generational before me. That I love myself and I am giving to myself what I need to heal so I can teach them, just like you're teaching, you know, taught your daughter how to get the parking spot, you know, that I get to teach my kids how to love themselves. I mean, it's not easy to teach yourself how to love yourself.
No, it
it's
isn't. But you know how, sorry, I didn't mean to just jump in. I was going to.
It's just the same thing of like teaching yourself how to accept a moment, to have trust in the moment, to trust God's divine timing. You know, all that stuff is to trust love and to trust timing and to trust energies are working the way they're supposed to. And it's all a lesson. That's a big lesson.
It is. Trust isn't hard, especially if you know, that's the thing that's tricky. It's like a catch-22 type situation because, you know, I'll use my brother as an example. You know, he used to joke around and say, I'm probably going to end up a junkie. And I would say to him, shh, stop that. Like, you don't want to put that thought out into the universe. He was a young teenage boy. He had no indication that this would happen to him, but he would say that. And you know, it's funny because he didn't believe me at the time. And that, well, I'm sorry, my thoughts are so scattered. I'm just having like all these things that are coming to mind. But what it's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Okay, so when I was trying to say this to him and teach him about this, he didn't believe. He would be like, well, it's like, let's say when he got into drug use and everything, and he would say, well, look at my life, like, it's true. Yes, and look at your life is actually a product of the thought that came before it. The thought, the feeling that creates the thought that creates the action in the world, right? It's like thought, word, deed kind of thing.
Right.
Trinities exist everywhere in the world. Trinities, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, body, mind, spirit, like, all these things. It's like that thought, word, deed. You have a feeling. So feeling, I've come to learn, is actually the creative state. So your feelings, you could be thinking one thing. So like, you could be thinking, I would love to have a beautiful, harmonious relationship, like for myself. But if my underlying subconscious feeling is, that won't happen for me, that's not possible, that doesn't exist, anything that's under the surface, subconscious, meaning I am not consciously aware of this thoughts, that is actually the thing that is creating. So that is why people say, well, I look at my life, there aren't, like in this case for me, I could say, well, it look at my life, it has been hard, I haven't been able to find it, like that kind of thing. But the reality is once you go, and you don't even need to know, that's what I love about the breath work, you don't even need to know what those subconscious, you don't even have to bring them up to your conscious awareness to get rid of them. You can just do the work and purge them out. Although a lot of times on their way out, you're going to have a thought of it. You know what I mean? You'll feel it. You'll feel something as it's releasing, but sometimes your body just knows what to do, You could even sit in a meditation and tell yourself, all right, I'm going to go in my body. I'm going to collect all the debris that I don't like, all the crap that's in there that I don't need anymore. And you can visualize it as like a swirling garbage can inside your center and push it up and out through the top of your head. You can visualize it, and your body will actually know what to do. It will know what your spirit will know exactly what you're trying to do, and it will help you do that. And in the later teachings in mental physics, there's you practice the breath work in your mind only, and it's unbelievable. And it's tricky to get the mechanics down because you want to do it, and it's all strange in the beginning when you're practicing it. I think you should try practicing the memory developing breath only in your mind, like when you're nursing. Imagine yourself doing it. Imagine you're breathing in and your head going back, and imagine just like you're doing it, but you could just be sitting nursing with your eyes closed. And I've seen people, like, I think I've told you about the one guy who was completely, he literally was hunched over like this with a cane. And he came in when I was a young teacher, not young, but early on, when I first started teaching. And I was in the later stages of my teacher training where we were practicing the breaths in our mind. So he says, well, what can I do? Because I can't lift my arms. I can't do this. I can't stand up straight. I didn't really know what to tell him. So I matter of factly said, just imagine that you're doing it. Just practice it in your mind. And over the course of the years, he is totally better. He is totally better. I've run into him a few times at the thrift store, standing up straight, no cane, nothing. He attributes it to the breath work. He does it on his own. He came to class. Isn't that amazing?
Power of the
There's
mind.
tons and tons. There's a story of this reverend from maybe Switzerland, who was in a submarine that capsized, and with a couple other men, and they couldn't there was no oxygen. The oxygen got cut in their submarine. And so the man was trying to teach these other two guys to breathe through their skin, like they had learned in the later teachings, like in the monastery. They would bury the monks like in sand and have them breathe through their skin. So the man stayed alive for like 3 days with no oxygen because of prana, stored up soul food in his body. It's pretty amazing. There's tons
So
and tons
weird.
of stories. You hear about the monks that like sit in snow and they melt the snow around them because you control, and I've done it a lot too, where in meditation, you can control your heart rate. You can make your heart beat faster or slower. You can do all kinds of things.
Right, where you can like there Joe Rogan had something on his podcast that I was listening to about there was a guy that was breathing in the corner and he was just sweating and sweating. It was so hot. And this guy was in the corner and he was just doing these deep breaths and he wasn't sweating at all. And he was regulating his temperature so that he wasn't hot by his breath. And he didn't know what was going on until later he researched it. He asked a doctor and he's like, well, you must have been sick or something, you know. Of course, that's their explanation. But later on to come to know like that, like there's other stuff he was talking about, like some like an Iceman or something.
Yeah, Wim Hof. I actually just signed up for his breathwork class. I'll send you the link. Yeah, he does. He does a lot of powerful breath work, and he can sit in the, go in freezing cold ice baths and melt snow and all that kind of stuff. Control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about that.
Honestly, I would say breath work, from what I've experienced from it, if you do it on a regular basis, it's almost like activating all of your superhuman powers. Extra sensory perception, my ability to read minds has improved immensely. My ability, my intuition to feel into things, and like especially if I'm doing it regularly. I did not know what was going on when I started to do it. I think I told you I'd be like at the grocery store standing next to somebody and hear all their internal dialogue, and then you feel crazy because there's no way to verify that. What do you say? Excuse me, stranger, but are you thinking about X, Y, and Z? But I literally could hear all of what they were thinking in their mind. It was so strange. This is when we were doing it like regularly.
Yeah.
So, but it expresses differently through different people. Like some people, when you activate the light in the center of your palms and stuff, like you could actually move things. It's like what people would consider magic or extra sensory powers and stuff. You could move physical objects with your energy. You could
levitation and stuff like that.
Yeah. You could take push like something. What?
The monks, can't they levitate?
Yeah, some of them can. I mean, and here's the thing too is
have you like light as a feather, stiff as a board?
Yeah. Yes, and it worked.
Yeah.
It always worked. And it's the same concept. It's like belief. And that's the other thing too. It's funny not funny, but with the state of the world and everything right now, a belief is really just a thought that you think over and over again. It's like a well-worn track in your brain, right? People are so dogmatic about their beliefs. It's just a thought that you've had for your whole life, and I guess it could be the same about everything, like the breath work and stuff. We've learned to breathe a certain way. It just takes relearning it and creating a new neural pathway, a new body memory to do the new thing, to do the new thing. But for you,
takes open-mindedness to be willing to try.
It really does. And you know what? I would say for you and I'm proud of us for that, because for myself, and I think you too, I've always been willing and seeking to grow myself and to heal things and to like expand my understanding. And I'm pretty stubborn in my beliefs, but I also have that part of me that's willing to here's, willing to consider others' ideas. I might not have all the answers.
But you have a lot of answers, and that's one of the things I keep on telling people, that you are trained in mental physics, and you called it your teacher training. But what is that teacher training that you had? Like that you went and what exactly, how do you explain that? What is it called, and how?
Okay. Well, okay. So in mental physics, it's like 3 chunks. The first is the initiate group course, which is like 26 lessons, basic spiritual understanding, which is just basically like the law of attraction, for lack of a better way to put it. It's basic understanding of universal laws that exist and how to work with those, and introducing each of the breaths, like the 8 key breaths and maybe a few others. And then the second chunk of and that takes 1 lesson a week, so 26 weeks. The second chunk of lessons, after the first, if you know that this is something you want to do, then you commit to the second part, which is the inner chamber. Excuse me. That's 123 lessons. Pretty sure. I get the numbers mixed up sometime. So like 123 weeks. So a couple years of deeper spiritual understanding and more different breaths, like the advanced memory developing breath, which is this, like, like there's the cold breath. There's this really crazy breath where you're like, doing some weird thing like that. It's kind of like, it's like a super yoga. That's what Ding LeMay referred to it as, the super yoga of the West. Yoga does the same thing, because yoga, contrary to what some people think about squeezing your body into impossible positions, really has a lot less to do with that. And it's all about the breath. Yoga is the breath. If you're doing your stretching and you're syncing it with your breath, your body is eventually going to make those positions. It's not about contorting your body to get into some sort of handstand at all. Right. It's about being present in your body, being aware of your breath. Also being aware, like in meditation, your mind doesn't just slow down and stop thinking. It's like being the awareness that watches the mind doing what it does. Now, when you're in meditation, being the observer. And when people have that experience, when they actually have the experience of being the observer, then they're like, but wait, well, then who's that? If I'm over here watching, you know what I mean? So it actually is like kind of like a break that allows people to recognize God conscious. It gives them God consciousness. They have an awareness of that. There's my human self, and I'm witnessing the thoughts. But if that's the case, who's the witness? Who's the observer? God, as you. That's your higher self observing your human nature, your physical being. We are so much more than our physical being. People, that's what irks me about Western medicine.
But there was also the thought of that, like, we also don't want to disconnect from those either, of like that there's our mind, there's our heart, and then there's our gut. And that there's all these parts of us where, there's like the 8 inches of separation is like the longest distance ever, the connection between head and heart, right? That, heard that one before. Yeah. But then there's also the gut too. There's another holy trinity kind of. There's another set of 3, is our mind, our heart, and our gut are our different senses, that. But we don't want to be so removed that we're not in touch with that, right? Because we don't want to go to oblivion and escape from these realities. We want to immerse into them, right? Just like how you're saying the car tire, right? Instead of being like, I don't want to feel my emotions and I don't want to feel this feeling, that I say, this is what I'm feeling and this is how I am, and to all those parts, this is my gut, right? Like, how many times do you not listen to your gut, and then all of a sudden later you're like, oh my, like,
every single time I don't listen to my gut, I go, why did I not? Even if it's just a little thing like walking out the door, the little whisper of, oh, hey, grab the red bag. And then the conscious mind's like, why? I don't need to go out the door. And then some circumstance happen. You're like, I need the red bag. You know what I mean? It happens to me. I'm getting better and better, though. It just really.
But it's awesome when you actually grab the red bag.
It is.
Have I needed the red bag because
Totally. I love that.
Listen to it.
Yeah.
Listen to the voice.
Yeah. And it's like they say, it's easy to be spiritual on a mountaintop. I mean, the trick is taking your meditation practice and the breathwork practice and everything that you're learning and all the breakthrough experiences that you're having and applying them to the flat tire. You know what I mean? That is real spirituality, because we are living in this really interesting dualistic universe in that we have a physical form, but we have God's source energy to create with. We literally can take spiritual energy and make something manifest in the physical realm. It's a very unique experience to be here in a body and have the ability to use this God source energy.
More of what we are doing of sending when Ding LeMay I was imagining like this sweeping energy where he talks about starting in our city and then going to our state and then going to our and then going to our world. I imagined like this almost like what I would see like with a bomb where it's like the shock waves.
Yeah, that's exactly how I see it.
Seeing in my head is like the shock wave of that I'm just am sending this like yellow golden energy of love and healing, but like acknowledging the same love that when I see, when we have that energy that comes from our light in our back, right? Where we're seeing the light and the sparkles of the sun glisten. Whole bodies are actually that light, and acknowledging that light is in all souls, right? That light is in every person on this planet, and to acknowledge that light and that love
Absolutely.
exists, right? That and bring that to a higher sense that even though right now we can go on a superficial level that the world is going crazy and there's this pandemic and the politics are crazy and everybody wishes that we had equal values to each other and all this horrible negative self-talk and negative image of the world, that okay, that's a superficial level. Because if you go into deeper levels, that we are all wanting to have a deeper level, we're all wanting to have equality, we're all wanting to have it's just a matter of perspective. Is your flat tire something really bad, or is your flat tire something really that's good?
It's always a matter of perspective. Everything, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Everything. Like you hear the thing about like if there's a car accident and there's 10 different people that witness it, their story is going to be different because of their perspective. And their perspective is filtered through their belief system, which are just the well-worn pathways in the brain of the thoughts that they think over and over again. We have a lot of stubborn people, and the human beings are so fascinating. And you know what? I want to just go back to the fact that I'm proud of us for doing our work, because the number one thing as a human being that you can do to heal the whole, the microcosm in the macrocosm, is to work on your own self and get those traumas, whether from in this life or, if people believe in other lives, however that those things that are like a cancer, it's like a rogue cell. I mean, cancer, do you know what cancer is? Only just cells that forget how to die off. You know what I mean? They're no longer useful.
and they lose their ability to just die off appropriately.
Right, like isn't their programming like get changed or something? Like what
Yeah,
their
I think
cell
it's
is
called apoptosis or something like that. Yeah, and they're just it just is a switch that causes it to replicate versus dying off when it's like a bad cell or something. And it's kind of, it's like the microcosm and the macrocosm of what's happening in the world right now. It's like fear, you know, as a little seed grow, like it spreads, it grows, it's filtered, you know, the same way love is also a seed that you can put out, love and light that you can put out into there and then add that to the whole. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had a better way of saying it, but it's a big job it's our only job really is to clear away the blockages in our physical body so that we can hold more love and light. Because when we do that, that's what we're contributing to the whole of humanity. You know, it's like, I mean, I don't know. This is how I have to do. I'm not the kind of person that could go out and be like an activist and picket and do that kind of thing like people are doing right now. That is not me at all. I think I'm way too sensitive for that. But what I can do, is like what we do, and we sit with Master Co and we imagine planet Earth and we send it light, and we imagine we create joy inside ourselves, and we can beam the joy and the love and light out to other people, out into the world. This is also a very powerful job, just like the other people that are called to do whatever they do, riots or activism or whatever they're called to do, I mean, to create change. It's funny because I always think of it like the ocean is the ocean and it's all one body of water, but all the individual droplets make up that ocean. And without one droplet, it's not complete. It's the same way that humanity is. It's like we all are, regardless of what people think and regardless of how wretched a human being can show up, we all are part of the greater whole. It's a divine
Oh,
whole.
there was something I heard the other day, and it was something about that the grain of sand has more power than the ocean, because the grain of sand is the one that has the memory to it, even though the ocean may have a tide, or it may have a like a tsunami that comes, right? That the ocean has the tsunami and it's gigantic, but that's temporary. There will be a point where the ocean has to recede and the ocean has to go back to where it went. And that's what the devil does. The devil has to go back, even though the devil can take over power and may have a tsunami come, but he has to go back. He has to go back. That the grain of sand is stronger than the ocean, because he will stand. The grain of sand will take back. And that's what the God energy is that the grain of sand has more energy than the ocean.
I'm not sure I understand that.
I wish I don't know. It was a church sermon that I don't remember if it was either the ones that it's Elevation Church or Joel Osteen are the two that I've been watching, and it's one of those two that I saw. It was so powerful though. It was like, but it was just that like God wins, right? Like the devil can make these tsunamis happen, but it was in reference of the grain of sand has more power than the whole entire ocean. One grain of sand does. And that's
isn't the grain of sand the thing that gets in the oyster and irritates it to make a pearl?
Exactly. Yes.
So that's like a flat tire. So when so we can even take it a step beyond. So like, let's say the flat tire, just for sake of example, let's say you progress to, you don't get all bent out of shape about it. You're just there and you're like, it is what it is. And you accept it. That's beautiful, brilliant. You could even take it further and be grateful for the tire because of any number of things. The people that you meet because of that, the accident that's avoided because of that, the things that, the chance, the opportunity to practice presence. See what I mean? Everything is a gift.
Yeah.
The flat tire is a gift. It's an opportunity to practice presence and patience and acceptance and trust, and to clear out anything that's inside you that, you know, is that would have before been totally bent out of shape about that. I mean, I have grown so much. I remember when I first moved to LA, I was like, had road rage. I could not even, I would get so crazy, like, what is wrong with these people? And then it occurred to me, oh my gosh, it doesn't make me get there any faster. If anything, it just makes me get there agitated. It
Right.
doesn't
Your
change
spirituality,
the circumstance.
how you drive a car and your spirituality are very much
They
in line.
are. They're so funny.
They're an example of each other, of where you're at. Go drive a car, and that's where you're at spiritually.
That's so funny, right? You know, now I've come a long way, because now I look at it like my automobile university. I have all kinds of audio books. I got that Joel Osteen book that you told me about.
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I had a bunch of credits, and I asked my friends for suggestions and just got some really good spiritual type books. And, you know, I've gone to LA and almost the whole trip done this, or ohmed. I used to have this Eternal Ohm CD, which I'll send you. It's fantastic. I think it's Jonathan Goldman. You should look him up. Really just peaceful. Like you could just sit there and ohm over and over. I felt like I arrived floating above my vehicle half the time to LA. And here's the crazy thing. Because our thoughts are magnetic, because we're magnetic beings, right? If you are I proved this to myself. I say this from actual experience. The things I'm talking about these are things that I've practiced and overcome and experienced myself. So if you're in a magnetic state of peace and calm and ease while you're driving, there could literally be traffic bumper to bumper on either side of you, and you will flow to your destination. Like it's like, have you seen it? Just happened to me yesterday on the way back from the dentist. There was a guy that was so agitated. We were on a 2-lane road, right? And the guy in the fast lane was going too slow, let's say. So I was going the speed limit, and we were kind of like this. This guy was like whipping back and forth and everything. I was trying to let him in, because I always am just like, cool guy, if it's that big of a deal to you, you go right on ahead. Doesn't bother me at all. You know, rather have you be calm and get there safely or whatever. So, but the funny thing is he was doing this and jetting back and forth. And finally I saw that this car in the fast lane wasn't going to adjust. So I slowed down so he could get past and get over and speed in front of the other car or whatnot. Well, 2 seconds later, I cruise right by, and he's trapped between like a big rig and another car. Can't get, because he's so agitated. He keeps creating the same block everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if all anyone has to do is just experiment in their own life, and you will see, even in the case of the tire, if you're calm and peaceful and trusting, I don't know why this is coming up, but you remember when the dogs died? I just had a vision of it. I don't know why this is coming up, but in that moment,
we gotta what's up though, because my kids, I can hear them.
Yeah. I know, I forgot, and I'm recording this whole thing. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Do you want to do the cord cutting or something?
I want to, but we're gonna have to do it another time, because it's already 2:36.
No. Oh, your time. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, I'm in big trouble.
Well, it's one
lady.
So it's 1:36 your time. So you need to meet somebody. I need to get up to my kids, relieve my mother-in-law. So But I want to know what you have to say about Melissa.
Oh, well, all that came to mind, I don't know why it came up, but it was the fact that a veterinarian was the person that was right there to see it's just like everything. Huh?
The one that hit him, the one that took us to the.
No, the people that, and we were, now remember, it was a shocking situation for us, so we were kind of out of our mind.
I was 9 months pregnant at the
I
time.
know, and Dad just died.
Yeah.
Like the day before, right?
I think it was.
we were cleaning out the oxygen tanks to get him out of the house
It
for your mom.
definitely like within 72 hours. I don't remember it being the very next day, but
the fact that when she was running out there, I don't know if I ever told you this, but all I knew when I was watching, because I could see the truck, I could see the dogs. It was just like a horrible scene that I could see coming. It was awful because you were on the inside of the garage, right?
And I watched you. I watched you.
You
I
did.
watched your ones, and that's what was traumatizing to me, is watching you.
But the fact is that the thought that I had was that dog was going after my dad. I don't know why the dog, it was like divinely ordained, which is why, and I saw how hard she got hit. There was no coming back from that, Mindy, I guarantee you. I don't know if that makes any difference to you at this point, but it was by divine design. And the person that pulled over was a veterinarian, and the other one was like a doctor. I mean, that's who showed up to handle the whole situation. It's just life is so perfect.
What I remember is the guy who hit drove us to animal hospital, and I was in the back seat with Melissa, and I was just looking at her in the eyes and the pain. It was like she was just so sad because of the pain, but like she felt my love. She could feel that I loved her, and that somehow it helped her with passing, I don't know.
I'm so sorry I brought that up. I don't even know why that memory popped in there. You just, maybe because it needed to be released. I haven't even thought about that in years. Sorry.
It's okay.
Everything is in spirit. There is no death. There's only life, eternal life. It's the truth. All consciousness just closes eyes here and opens them in another, right around the corner, like my mom said. There is no end to consciousness. Animals or people, it's God changing form. But loss is hard as a human being. It's one of the things. It's one of the really tricky things about being human, because we are so caught up in the physical reality, and we think that's.
But Jody, I think it's the one thing that makes me connected to the universal energy, or whatever you called it, the God consciousness, the spirit that is it, because I feel this deeply, it makes me realize that I am like God. Because if I didn't feel this strongly about life and about people and about animals and about matters of the heart, matters of what happens and what doesn't happen, and I wouldn't know what it's like to be God. Because God, that is what God is. God is in everything, and he is the director, and he is,
He's the life force, animating energy force in everything, all things. It's not that you're even like God. You are God. You are God expressing as Mindy, made in the image and likeness of the omnipotent, omnipresent creator of the universe. There's no difference.
Jesus was a master teacher also who came and said, this you can do and more. Say to the mountain, move, and it will move, because Jesus understood the power of the creative word. That's one of the bonuses of getting a physical body and being here now, is using creative life force energy, speaking the word, and creating something in the physical realm. It's brilliant. We're so lucky we get to do this. Not everybody does.
And we know about it.
Yeah, and we know about it. We know
All
about
right, we gotta go. We gotta end this.
All
call.
right. I love you so much. Thank you for always showing up and doing this. Is so good for us, I think, don't you? I need this.
Today was amazing.
I had just one more thing on the final 8th breath, the spiritual breath, where we spread it around the world and everything. It's interesting because I've had, I feel like my giving nature is strong. I've had trouble receiving in my life, right? So even when I've done that breath, I have no problem flooding the world with light and sending it out. But when it's like coming back to me, like fourfold law of the universe, I almost like go off in my head. I I can't, it's the same struggles I have at receiving in life, that I'm working on. And so lately my attention has been on being in that receptive feminine energy of allowing, not needing to force, not needing to do, but simply allowing, right? What the things to come to me. And so today, for the first time, maybe ever, I had a powerful, profound experience of it coming back to me. And it was like, it was like an electrical.
Yeah, I
shock.
felt because Dana May said something of like being overwhelmed with something.
Yeah,
Like something.
yeah. It overwhelms me. It embosoms me. Yeah.
I felt yes, and I felt that, and I was like, it was odd, but
Yeah, that's.
I have to go, Joan. I have to go.
Love you.
I love.
Bye.
Bye.